Fox 10 Gulfstream. This is Next Weather.
While we're used to the heat on the Gulf Coast, we still need to take precautions to stay safe. Meteorologist Matt Barentine breaks down what to look for when somebody is having heat-related issues.
Searing heat is going to be common in the coming days for us here along the Gulf Coast. You can see our heat risk on the map. See these purples and reds for major to extreme heat risk here in our area for the next few days, particularly obviously in the hottest part of the afternoon when the heat and humidity combined for the high heat index values. Here's what we can expect on our Tuesday. You can see somewhere around 10 o'clock in the morning we'll start hitting triple-digit heat index values, and we'll stay up there and maybe get as high as 110 at times during the afternoon and stay above 100 on that heat index until the evening hours of around 6 o'clock. So that's 8 hours, 100 plus on the heat index value. So that's one of the big reasons why we put up these advisories. It's not just because it gets hot, but because it stays hot for a long amount of time. And of course, if you have to be outside, that can cause some major issues. Now, of course, there's two main things we watch out for: heat exhaustion and heat stroke. And there are different symptoms to each. Faint or dizzy for heat exhaustion, but a throbbing headache if you're having a heat stroke. This is a big one. Excessive sweating if you have heat exhaustion, but if you have a heat stroke, you may not be sweating at all. If you have heat exhaustion, your skin will be cool and clammy. If you're having heat stroke, it'll be red and hot. And then as we see, nausea and vomiting for both. Rapid, weak pulse for heat exhaustion, while you have a strong pulse still with heat stroke. You can have muscle cramps with heat exhaustion, but you can also lose consciousness with a heat stroke. If you have heat exhaustion, you really need to get somebody to a cool place. If somebody's having a heat stroke, you got to call 911. And of course, if you have any doubts, you call 911 and make sure somebody gets the help. And really the main thing is the person that's going through this will be confused and really won't know what's happening to them. So it's on the person who's not experiencing the symptoms to notice the symptoms and help take care of that person. In Mobile, Matt Barentine, Fox 10 News.
That's really good advice, Matt. Hopefully you don't need that advice, but you know, as we go through the next couple of days, you're going to get a real test with this heat. The Midwest is bracing for more rain, and dozens of rivers there remain at flood stage, and the conditions have destroyed hundreds of homes. Fox Weather's Nicole Vales has more.
Parts of the Midwest underwater on Monday as heavy rain caused flash floods across the region over the weekend, and more is on the way.
We're taking shifts because we have to every 2 hours be watching our pumps.
Forecasters say up to 18 inches of rain fell across parts of South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota, putting dozens of rivers at flood stage. In Iowa, conditions turning streets into rivers and prompting hundreds of water rescues by the National Guard. Governor Kim Reynolds says entire neighborhoods have been evacuated.
If you do get an evacuation order, it's serious. We have homeowners that think that they can stand it out and that they'll be fine.
Flooding has destroyed hundreds of homes and forced some businesses and main roads to close. Many now scrambling to recover what's left.
Once it started pooling up outside around the house, and all of a sudden that was disappearing. Come in the house and looked in the basement. In
Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz declared a peacetime emergency, activating the National Guard to help fight the rising floodwaters, but he warned the cleanup could take weeks.
Physical health with dirty water, we got to start thinking about disinfecting. The mental aspect of this is keep an eye on each other. Think about this. This is very emotional. Folks have lost all of the things they own.
And the flood threat over the Midwest still not over yet. Forecasters are expecting more rain to fall throughout the week. In Nashville, I'm Nicole Valdez, Fox Weather.
Here's our 7-day forecast. You can see the showers and thunderstorms, they ramp up some by the middle of the week. That may help us some with the heat. We've certainly seen heat-related threats the last couple of days, and that'll continue, but it looks like later in the week there'll be some improvement. Overnight lows still in the mid-70s. Thanks for joining us on Fox 10.